Alright, so welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Television. This is the show where we discuss TV news, right? All the new relevant TV news from this week. So typically these episodes are out on Saturdays, but I do apologize for that. We're here on a Sunday, Sunday afternoon time here for this episode. But hopefully next week we'll be back on Saturdays. Let's Talk Cinema, the movie news show that we do usually on Mondays with Greg. We've been doing a couple of weeks in a row on Tuesday, but hopefully we want to get back to this schedule of Let's Talk Cinema on Mondays. Walker Talk will also be resuming. Shane and I meant to do an episode this Friday, but we both just kind of got busy, and that didn't quite work out. But we will definitely be doing one this week for, of course, the premiere that's coming out tonight. I've already seen it, but it is coming out tonight. And yeah, so we'll definitely be doing one to talk about that. And of course, some of the news I'm going to be talking about a little bit later in this episode is Danai Gurira leaving The Walking Dead, and that's a big news topic here for all Walking Dead fans. So I'm going to get into that one, but first we're going to start off with the Veep final season premiere day released by HBO, and then along with a lot of other discussion too. One of the biggest news topics though that didn't make the cut for this episode is the Dark Tower. The Dark Tower at Amazon, I believe, and they're putting together a Dark Tower series, and it will be going into production very shortly, I think this summer. And so that is one of the news topics that I didn't discuss. I didn't see the recent movie, and I have not read the book series by Stephen King. Although big Stephen King fan, I haven't read those novels yet. So yeah, that would be the reason why I didn't think that discussing it would be, as important. But there were a lot of other things to discuss, like I mentioned, and yeah, we'll get into those. So yeah, my eye has been giving me some issues, if you can tell. So yeah, that is there. Just thought I mentioned that just in case anyone was wondering. But anyways, so let's get into the TV news here, and let's discuss. Like I said, or I didn't say it yet, but I would love to hear your thoughts as always on any or all of this news these news topics. Do really appreciate those of you tuning in live right now. So those of you watching, please leave your thoughts in the live chat. Leave any questions as well. Doesn't even have to be necessarily concerning these topics, but just questions in general for me, and I'll definitely get around to answering those in between segments here. I'll try to take a look, and then also if you're watching afterwards, please feel free to leave a comment. If you leave a question in the comments, I'll definitely answer that then in next week's episode. Spend a little bit of time and on that one as well. So anyways, let's just check and see if and everything is working all right. All right, it looks like it is. Everything's all good. All right, then let's get going with the episode. So, yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And also, as always, guys, the description of these episodes will all have the news that I'm going to be discussing, all the topics. And so then you know kind of what we're covering. So, anyways, let's start here right off the bat with HBO sets premiere date for Veep's final season. So this was big. Obviously, I talked about this news, actually, that HBO was putting together this final season for Veep, that the season 7 would be its last. And then also the announcement with the 7-episode last season about it being reduced a lot. And of course, a lot of this news is all kind of centered around Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who of course is the star of the show, but also announced that she was battling breast cancer, right? And so that whole situation really kind of, affected pretty much everything, right? I mean, she's the star of the show, so it affected when they went into production, how many episodes this final season would be, the determination of it being the final season, right? So everything kind of surrounding that situation with her and the breast cancer, fight, if you will. She did fight it, and I believe she is better, of course, but yeah, so that of course affected a lot of things in play here, but now we will be getting the premiere date for Veep's final season. I know now a lot of people have been kind of critical of the last season, season 6, I think, but other than that, I think this show has really gone, positive fan reviews, positive critic reviews alike. I think it's been pretty similar there. A lot of people really have a lot of praise for the show. And of course, Julia Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld. You got some other big names in here too that I'm a fan of as well. So just a really great series. And of course, you want to talk about the Emmy success too, but we will mention that in just a couple moments. So this article here is from Variety, and then I'll give some more further thoughts on this one. So the 7th and final season of Veep will premiere on March March 31st, HBO announced Friday. So March 31st, I believe it will be a Sunday on HBO. The political comedy starring Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Selina Meyer, the once vice president, then briefly president, will sign off with a 7-episode final season, which is the shortest in the show's history. While the debut season consisted of 8 episodes, the subsequent ones consisted of 10 episodes. So this will be the shortest season so far. Production was delayed on the final season after Louis-Dreyfus revealed she had breast cancer in 2017. She underwent treatment and completed it successfully, and the final season ended up wrapping production in December 2018. So it was like, a couple months ago, if you will, maybe a couple months ago, maybe a month and a half. The production is only just wrapped up a month and a half ago. So a March 31st premiere date is actually, I would say, pretty impressive. I think that's pretty, although, I mean, it is a comedy, it is 7 episodes. So, how long does it really take to put those together and get them off to the studio, HBO in this case? Probably not that long, right? But I think it's still pretty impressive that they were able to do it this quick and kind of wrap things up effectively. So the final season will pick up with Selina, quote, unable to live a civilian life and thinking about running again, executive producer David Mandel told Variety. He also confirmed that the show would quote, turn back deeper into politics, unquote, not just for Selina, but also other characters as well. Veep will once again be Emmy eligible in 2019 after sitting out the 2018 awards race. The series has won 3 consecutive Emmy Awards for comedy series between 2015 and 2017, and has also seen its leading lady, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, win the Comedy Actress Trophy 6 consecutive times between 2012 and 2017. I didn't even, I knew it was a success Emmy-wise, and Golden Globe-wise, too. Don't get me wrong, they've gotten some nominations, Golden Globes, too, but, so, I mean, to hear that, 6 consecutive Emmys for Julia Louis-Dreyfus is incredible. Of course, Rachel Brosnahan took it home this year at the Emmys for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, so, and that show did really well. So seeing Veep now kind of come back into play in this Emmys is actually going to be interesting to see. And of course, it's its final season. We saw this with The Americans on FX, how it got a little bit more, maybe a better treatment than some would have thought it would have gotten for its final season run on FX, with Matthew Rice taking it home, Kerry Russell getting nominated. Did it win Outstanding Drama Series? I can't remember. I think it did, though. Yeah, I think it won Outstanding Drama Series for this year at the Emmys. So, with its last season, I think Veep has a very, very good chance at once again taking home the Comedy Award, and probably Julia Louis-Dreyfus taking home that Lead Actress Award for comedy as well. And you got to remember, Emmys, of course, they split it up, right? So Julia Louis-Dreyfus is not going to be in the same categories as the drama shows. And so, I mean, take that as you will, right? Is the comedy field, weaker? Can you compare them? I don't know. I mean, that's obviously a kind of a debate to have about the Emmys and whether they should be doing different categories and how these categories stack up. I will say they do spend, I would say equal time to the comedy and the drama at the awards ceremony, and limited series for that matter too. And so for me, I think the Comedy Awards are still very important and still very influential at the Emmys. So anyways, so we'll have to see come September if how they do with the Emmys, but I think just a lot of people are looking forward to this 7th and final season. I think, and it's and for me, shows that know that it's going to be their final season. They know going in, okay, we got to wrap it up. We got to give the fans a a happy ending, if you will, right, or a satisfactory ending. I feel like those seasons always work out the best, right? Those are always better than shows who have no idea it's going to be their final season and they're canceled, or just after time they decide to wrap it up with that season and it just ends up on a cliffhanger or something like that. Just nothing, or something that's not as satisfying, right? And so, for that reason, I think Veep is in a very good position right now. And it sounds like, narrative-wise, they're going to be kind of going back to maybe the grassroots of this series, and maybe wrapping it up with something very similar to what we have seen in previous seasons. I am not caught up with Veep. I've watched the whole first season, and I really did like it. I really did. I thought it was a very good show. Kind of has a little bit of the political interest for me, but then they don't take themselves too seriously either with the politics stuff. Of course, it is a comedy at the end of the day, and I feel in that way it's a very, very effective show. But yeah, one of HBO's best comedies for sure in the past 7 years, 6 years. And I think they're going to deliver a great product for this final season. But that's just me. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the last season if you're caught up. What did you think of it? And what are you looking forward to see in season 7? So that would be great to hear as well. I just want to mention this too. Matt Walsh, Gary Cole, and Tony Hale. I love all three of these guys too. You know, seeing them in Veep, and Tony Hale, I believe, won an Emmy for supporting actor in a comedy a couple years ago for it. Matt Walsh, he's a funny guy. I've never seen him have like a big role in anything, but I still really appreciate his performance, even in those small roles. Gary Cole, I know from a few things, but Suits maybe the biggest one for me, even though he only had like about a 7 or 8 episode arc in that. But anyways, I do really enjoy Gary Cole as well. And like I said, Tony Hale, just really a funny guy. They have a really great cast. Of course, there's the other leading actress too. I didn't write her name down because I haven't seen her in anything else before. But she is great too. Yeah, obviously not discounting her either. But anyways, a really great supporting cast, along with, of course, powerhouse and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So this show, it's going to be unfortunate to see it end, and we'll have to see. Some people are talking about maybe spin-offs with some of these secondary characters. It could be, right? I mean, in the world right now with entertainment and all these spin-offs and sequels and everything with these TV series, that could be possible too. So let me know, you know, what kind of spin-off series you would like to see, or if you think that's even a possibility at this point for HBO. But yeah, so anyways, guys, love to hear your thoughts on that one. Veep, final season premiere date, once again, March 31st on HBO. I believe that's a Sunday. But I could be wrong, but I think it is a Sunday. That's how they've kind of had Veep broadcast before. So, anyways, guys, yeah, great news there for Veep on its final season. All right, so then let's go into our next topic. I'm reaching the wrong place. All right, let's go on to our next topic then, which is what we do in the shadows. So earlier this week, the What We Do in the Shadows Season 1 trailer was released by FX. And, of course, this is a series that I think a lot of people are anticipating. Some people probably have no idea what it is. And that was kind of me up until, I would say, a couple months ago when I heard more about it. And, of course, then I heard about the original movie and kind of what's been going on with that. And, of course, Taika Waititi, right, of course, from Thor Ragnarok. So there's, you know, a lot of kind of buzz around this, but I think it's more of a cult, you know, a cult series or a cult production, if you will. Just in the way that there's, you know, really hardcore fans, you know, of this series. And then there's people who have never even heard of it before, right? And it's also kind of an Australian-based thing as well. Or New Zealand, I guess. So that might, you know, contribute to people who haven't heard of it before. But anyways, FX released the trailer this week, and we've seen some teasers here and there, some short teasers, but this was kind of our first full trailer look at what this Season 1 is going to be. So we get a little bit of information about it. This March, they awaken. From writer Jermaine Clement and director Taika Waititi, What We Do in the Shadows premieres March 27th on FX. What We Do in the Shadows is a half-hour comedy series based on the feature film of the same name by co-creators Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi. Set in New York City, the show follows 3 vampires who have been roommates for hundreds and hundreds of years. The stars are Matt Berry, Koi Van Novak, Natasha Demetrio, Harvey Guillen, and Mark Proksch. To be honest, Matt Berry I've heard of, but I haven't heard of any of those other cast members. Although, looking at this trailer, it looks like it's a great cast. It looks like they already have some great chemistry. Trailer's about 2 minutes and about like 2 minutes 10 seconds long. So it actually is a pretty, substantial trailer. And I honestly, in this trailer, I see that the cast is really great. They look like a real funny, a funny compilation of actors. And then also, like I said, the chemistry just on screen already looks to be very, very well established as well. So, anyways, so that's a little bit more information, of course, right? Based on the original feature film, right? And like I said, that is kind of a cult hit as well, that feature film, right? And so that's kind of what's been spinning out of this. There has been some talks about a werewolf spin-off movie, I guess, in production. I did read this when I was looking at the trailer. And so we'll have to see what happens with that one. It's kind of been put on hold, I guess, right now. And then there's also another TV series or TV adaptation, TV movie or something like that that has been made, but that hasn't obviously been an American adaptation. So this is kind of the first ever American adaptation of the feature film, right? And what I always say about adaptations is it's great to have the original creators on board. I feel like that always emphasizes what the original piece was trying to do, right? And kind of convey that same meaning again in an adaptation. So great to see, right? That's exactly what we have here with Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi coming back with this one. It is unfortunate Taika Waititi will not be starring in this one. Some people are speculating on whether he'll make an appearance or not, which of course remains to be seen, but we'll have to see. So, my thoughts of this trailer. It just left me with a smile on my face, right? Just after this, it just looked like a lot of fun. Obviously, not a serious show at all, right? And they totally just suspend that. Even from the first few moments of this trailer, you can already see that, right? But yeah, it just looks like a lot of fun. It looks like some really great jokes that they've made in this trailer. I do hope that they didn't show us maybe too much in this trailer, and it's honestly hard to speculate on that right now, but it'll be interesting to see, was most of that footage taken from the pilot, or, later in the series, did it show us too much? But we'll have to see that, of course, when the series comes out. But just right off the bat, left me with a smile on my face. This series, of course, is so ridiculous, right? I mean, the whole premise of it, the whole way they orchestrate this idea, just completely ridiculous. But the best thing about it is that the creators understand that, right? They don't take themselves too seriously with this series, and that, I think, is maybe the best part of this series from at least the trailer of what I understood. Right, you have these ridiculous scenes where this vampire, he's actually from Better Call Saul, too, so recognized him right away. I think that is Mark Proch, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so, of course, he's called an energy vampire, and he's zapping energy from people at his workplace or something like that. Just hilarious, right? But completely ridiculous idea, and, but they make it funny. They don't take themselves too seriously, and that's, I think, maybe the best part of this whole thing. Of course, like I said, looks very funny. The cast, as I just mentioned, looks great as well. Looks very funny. Just an overall, like, a hilarious concept, and like I said, the way they kind of go with this concept looks to be really great, and I will say a half hour seems like a perfect time slot as well. You see some of these comedies who try to stretch it to an hour runtime, so about a 45 minute episode, and I just feel like it never really works as well as they think it might. It kind of drags on, but I think for this, as a kind of a 25 minute episode, 30-minute runtime, I think it actually will turn out to be very, very good. I think it's a perfect slot for this type of show. I'm not sure, did it say how many episodes they were doing? I think it said 10 episodes, or was it 13? I can't remember, but anyways, 10 to 13 episodes, half-hour episodes. I think it's the best that they could have done with this. I think making it an hour, which a lot of FX shows are, right? So I mean, they probably just just as easy could have made it an hour, but I think half an hour is a good decision here. And yeah, overall, I'm just looking forward to it. I have not seen the original movie, and that is something that I do definitely want to watch before watching this one. I think a lot of people should, it is like a movie. It's not a TV series that has, 50 episodes or anything that I have to watch. No, it's a feature film. I think I'm going to take a look at it before I watch this one. Gives me kind of a better understanding of things, and then I can actually compare the two a little bit better in that way as well. But anyways, What We Do in the Shadows. If you've not checked out the trailer, I do really suggest, if you've never heard anything about this, honestly, check out the trailer. I think you're going to be surprised. I think you're going to be amused. And like me, I think you'll leave with a smile on your face after those 2 minutes with the trailer from FX. So FX doing some great things. I mean, you know, all these series and comedies too, they've been focusing a lot on dramas. But this comedy and some other comedies, they're just doing a really great job, FX, right now, and we'll have to see if this, I mean, this really just fits FX's kind of image perfectly. I mean, it's kind of a dark vampire kind of horror aspect, right? And that was really established by American Horror Story, to be fair, right? That kind of image of FX was really established by American Horror Story there. But anyways, just kind of really fits that exact image that they want to go for in the future. And it's a comedy, so they're bringing a little bit kind of new to it, and then they're also kind of still sticking with that image. But anyway, so let me hear your thoughts on this trailer then that was released by FX. Like I said, if you haven't checked out, really suggest you do. So, anyways, guys, yeah, What We Do in the Shadows Season 1 trailer released by FX. Alright, so then let's move on to our next topic, which is probably the biggest topic of news this week. So, what I want to do here is, because of course this is Let's Talk Television, right? I'm talking about TV news. I thought I had to include this one. This is huge news for especially me as a Walking Dead fan, and just, you know, all over. I mean, the Andrew Lincoln leaving the Walking Dead news. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of huge, widespread. Even people who didn't watch The Walking Dead probably heard about that one, right? And this one pretty similar. So, Danai Gurira to exit The Walking Dead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about it here and then probably talk more in depth with Shane on Walker Talk this week. I'm not quite sure when we're going to be doing it. I think Thursday night, but anyways, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold off on maybe a few of my thoughts. I don't want to make this too long of a segment either. So anyways, here we go. Danai Gurira to exit The Walking Dead. This story was broke by a Hollywood Reporter earlier this week. I believe it was Thursday. And to me, just right off the bat, to me, this was not a surprise. Was it disappointing? Sure, right? But it was not a surprise. A lot of people are acting like this is a huge surprise for them. Huge news. Right, for everyone, and to me, it's not that much of a surprise, but, and I mean, Shane and I have been talking about this on Walker Talk for, I think we did 2 segments on it in different weeks about this, right? So this is something that we've, you know, Walking Dead fans have been speculating on for quite a bit. So anyways, here we go. From Hollywood Reporter, Danai Gurira, a breakout star of AMC's The Walking Dead, is exiting the series. Sources tell Hollywood Reporter that Gurira, who officially joined the series in Season 3 as iconic katana-wielding badass Michonne, perfect description, has signed a deal to return for her final season of the zombie drama. Under her new deal, Gurira will return in a limited capacity, described as only a handful of episodes that will be interspersed throughout Season 10. The actress will then likely move into the 3 Walking Dead movies that AMC is planning with former leading man Andrew Lincoln. Gurira's departure, like Lincoln's, is considered a creative blow to The Walking Dead. Both Rick and Michonne remain focal points of Robert Kirkman's source material on which the AMC series is based, of course, The Walking Dead comics. And then, quote, she has been very vocal about saying that she loves the show. We love Danai, we love that character. Right now, she's got a lot of opportunities, and she needs to weigh what she feels is best for her. But we certainly would want her on the show as long as she wants to be in it. And that quote is from AMC programming president David Madden. And he said that back in November. Note that, right? He said that back in November. So, while a massive change to The Walking Dead, Gurira's departure is not completely surprising, giving her breakout status. This is where I'm at, kind of. Since Gurira joined the show in 2012, the actress, who is a Master's of Fine Arts from NYU, has used the top-rated series as a launch pad. And what that means is Black Panther, amazing performance of Black Panther, of course. Infinity War then following that up. She's going to be in Avengers Endgame coming in May, I believe. And what I didn't really know, I've heard of this before, but I didn't really quite, acknowledge this. But she's also a very well-acclaimed playwright as well. She's right now adapting some plays right now. Her co-star in the Black Panther movie. I don't remember her name right now, but, you know, the other supporting actress, apparently she starred in a play that Danai Gurira wrote, and it won them a Tony. That play won them, I believe, Danai Gurira at least a Tony, for something along those lines. So that's something that I didn't even know. I knew that she was interested in the plays and stage. I knew she did that stuff, but I didn't know she was quite, you know, as acclaimed as she is. But yeah, she's won a Tony for that. So anyways, Danai Gurira leaving The Walking Dead. So this is now my argument why this actually is not that big of a deal, or maybe not that disappointing. To me, like I said off the top, this was not that surprising to me, right? We know that she's been involved with Marvel. We know that she's in talks for other movies too, going with that. Of course, she will be at the end of her 3-movie deal, though, for after Endgame. But of course, everyone knows that we'll probably most likely be getting a Black Panther sequel, right? And so with this Black Panther sequel, she'll probably be in that as well. So she'll probably sign an extended contract with that. And I'm not sure exactly what the details of all her Marvel contract are anyways. But anyways, so, you know, we know that she's breaking out. We know that she's being very successful, as is literally every other Walking Dead star. I mean, we see this, I keep saying this over and over again. Michael Cudlitz, Stephen Yeun, John Bernthal, maybe the biggest name of that, right? You know, Lauren Cohan, she's getting her own series now, and she's still kind of attached to the show. So to see Danai Gurira be successful after The Walking Dead, not a big surprise. When you're on a show like that gets that much exposure, and you're a good actress, like she is, an amazing actress, you're going to get attention, and you're going to want, or sorry, you're going to get other projects who want you, right? And so that's what has happened. And to see her then, you know, now this news comes out, well, she'll probably be leaving after season 10. Of course, limited involvement in season 10. She won't be in every episode. I'm actually okay with this because, you know, over the years, I mean, Michonne has been one of my favorite characters, don't get me wrong, in the series. But as of recent, I just felt like her kind of story arc is over. And I felt like with the exit of Rick, and especially with the time jump, if they hadn't done the time jump, I still would think Michonne would be an integral part to this story, especially exploring kind of her, how she's dealing with the loss of Rick. But because of they did the time skip, now all she really is the leader of Alexandria. And I believe her story arc of her coming in from season 3 to now is kind of spent. Even though I love Danai Gurira as an actress, I really have loved Michonne's character over the years, her character has kind of reached an end point. Now, yes, she's, you know, an original whatever, I mean, right? So she was from season 2, episode 13, the first time she came in. And, you know, obviously you want to keep as many original members as you can. At this point, they only have 2 cast members from season 1 still in the show. And I totally understand that point, but I feel like if your character is, you know, kind of like this, right? And, you know, it's kind of reached the end of your arc, as in my opinion, I think, yeah, and you have a lot of successful stuff to go on after this. I feel like that's a fair point. But with this as well, with Danai Gurira leaving, I kind of want Maggie back. I want Lauren Cohan to come back because, again, I feel like her character is even more, has a more meaningful arc going forward right now in the show than Michonne does, right? Again, Michonne has kind of been proven as herself, right? Now she's a mother, though. I guess that's kind of coming into play here, too. But we haven't spent a lot of time on that. Maggie we have, and of course her whole loss with Glenn, she went through that, leader with the Hilltop, now she's over with Georgie. So there's a ton of stuff, right, to bring Maggie back and explore that story arc that they're kind of building for her, or that they were building for her just as she left the show in season 9, episode 5. So I would much rather see Maggie come back. I would be okay with that if then Michonne was to leave. And I think ultimately the news that she is going to be in a few episodes of season 10 and then she's going in the movies almost confirms that she will not die in the original series. And this isn't like Andrew Lincoln. They're not saying that she'll never be in the series again. I could totally see Danai Gurira coming back for a few episodes if need be at the end of the show or in a, you know, small arc or something like that. I don't think it's not like a, a bad relationship end, type of thing, right? I think this is still a very, good relationship. She's just going on to other things. She's been with the series 7 years. It is what it is. Her character has kind of reached an end point, or at least for me, personally, and so she's moving on. To me, I'm not too surprised, and I'm not that upset, honestly. And as a Walking Dead fan, I'm like, when I see this news, I'm like, oh, like, obviously kind of disappointed. But then thinking about it more, right, it's like, maybe it's not that big of a deal, right? Maybe we will be okay. And again, it makes so much more sense to have her in the movies, because this was a question that a lot of fans asked is, how would you have Rick in 3 movies and then never have him return to the original series, but still have Michonne in the original series, right? At some point, he's got to meet up with Michonne. It would just make sense for his story. And so I think this solves that issue completely with having her go into the movies. Obviously, I do not think she will be in the first movie, but the second movie, maybe. So, anyways, I'm excited to see her in the movies and how this story plays out. And then, eventually, then they'll probably just finish her story along with Rick's together. And maybe they, live on happily ever after, and the original series goes on without the two. So, anyways, in terms of, picking an ending for a character, this is definitely a good option for AMC and The Walking Dead to kind of, send Danai Gurira off in these movies, wrap up her story. From a creative standpoint, I think it's the best you could do, right, with her leaving. And again, I mean, she could have just not signed for any episodes in Season 10. Like, this could be a lot worse than it is. Like I said, I don't think the relationship is torn or diminished at all between the two. And so I'm sure that we will see her maybe eventually in the series again, but for sure in the Rick movies. So anyways, my kind of final thing is, it's not as big of a deal as people may make it out to be, for me at least. Yes, it's disappointing. You don't like to see it, characters leave like that. But I will mention again, Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride have signed 3-year deals, franchise deals. That's an important part of that too. So at least we'll see the two of them for the next 3 seasons at least. I think right now, Melissa McBride could even leave, and I would be okay with it. It would be disappointing, but I would be okay with it. Norman Reedus, I think, is the key for longevity here with this series. I think when he leaves, I think you can make an argument that the show will be ending very shortly thereafter. But until that happens, I'm still confident, and of course, I'll still be watching, right? Premiere is on tonight for Season 9. I already saw it, but anyways, I'll be definitely looking forward to the rest of the second half. So, anyways, guys, Danai Gurira, text of The Walking Dead, right? Disappointing, right? Kind of not a big surprise for us. And I think maybe the best way, or the best outcome that they could expect out of this whole situation is occurring. So, anyways, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. You're a fan of The Walking Dead, or if you haven't watched it in a few seasons, you think, oh, the show is dead now. Another, cast member leaving. Fair enough, right? Let me know what you thought of this news here. And, of course, we'll probably hear more of this stuff coming out in the next few weeks. Probably, Danai Gurira will probably come out. AMC will come out, maybe confirm it or deny it. I guess we'll have to see. But, yeah. So, anyways, guys, love to hear your thoughts on that one. All right, so now let's go on to the next topic here, which is our 4th topic of today's episode. All right, and this one is Fargo Season 4 to begin production this winter. So this is kind of, so Fargo Season 4 set to begin production this winter. This is a pretty big deal, right? This article is from Deadline. So Season 3... ended in June 2017, right? And then I think Season 2 is 2015 or something like that. Season 1, 2014. So the seasons have kind of been spread out a little bit, right? And, of course, Fargo kind of a big hit in Season 1 and 2. I'm not sure how Season 3 did exactly, but, it's been a successful show on FX, right? Season 4 has kind of been on the conveyor belt for a while now, and people can be kind of wondering, is it even going to happen? And so this week, they actually confirmed that they're they're set to begin production this winter on Season 4 finally. So, it sounds like 2020 we will see Fargo Season 4. Here we go from Deadline. FX boss John Landgraf said that the show will go into production this winter and that the network will keep making it as long as creator Noah Hawley is interested, or Howley. So there you go, right? This season may not even be its last, right? We're going forward with this season that's going in production, and as long as Noah Hawley or Howley is interested, we at FX are going to keep going with Fargo. And I think that's a great sentiment. I think that obviously shows the amount of confidence that they have in the creator, and and the future of this series as well. So, quote, we've actually now heard the season pitch for the 4th season of Fargo. Noah's writing it, and I read the first script and loved it. I didn't know if it would go past 1 season, but as long as he came up with fantastic ideas, we'll make them forever if he keeps coming up with them. Sorry, Landgraf added. The 4th season of FX Network's Emmy-winning series will be top-lined by Chris Rock, who will play the head of a crime family. Last year, executive producer Warren Littlefield told Deadline that the show will be set in Kansas City in 1950. And then here's a little bit of the synopsis here from Deadline. The city will serve as the crossroads and collision point of 2 migrations. Italians coming from Italy and African Americans are fleeing the South to escape Jim Crow, both fighting for a piece of the American dream as 2 controlling crime syndicates. They are at an uneasy peace, controlling an alternate economy of exploitation, graft, and drugs. To cement their peace, the heads of both families have traded their eldest sons. And then a quote from Noah Hawley here is, please don't tell people this is the end. And he told Deadline that back in 2017 at the end of season 3. So, maybe this isn't the last season, right? So, Hawley says that then, please don't tell people this is the end. So, obviously we see FX has confidence in this going forward. The creator Noah Hawley has, confidence in this going forward. It really just depends on him coming up with good ideas for future seasons. And it sounds like finally he's come up with a good idea for season 4. They get a guy like Chris Rock attached, which is great to see. Chris Rock, just an awesome actor, hilarious guy as well. He's very funny. And yeah, so it'll be great to see him in this as well, coming to TV. You see all these big actors recently coming to TV, right? Just want to talk about a few of them. Amy Adams, Mahershala Ali coming to True Detective. Those just recently huge ones. So anyways, it sounds cool. I mean, this is pretty cool. Fargo, of course, anthology series, right? Different story, different kind of environment every season, different characters as well, different casts. So, anyways, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to this. That's pretty much the extent of the details that we have right now. Kansas City, 1950, and focused on the Italians, kind of family there, and also African Americans fleeing the South. So yeah, I mean, from the details here, it sounds like an interesting story. Sounds like Noah Hawley has an idea finally for this, and because of that, they are set to begin production this winter. So then that kind of leads us to then believe 2020 will probably be the time where we see Fargo season 4 coming out on FX. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I was looking forward to True Detective, right? Season 3 coming on, it is on right now. Really enjoying that, and I think Fargo season 4, I think it's going to be good. I mean, a lot of people have been obviously speculating on whether it's over, right? Whether it's ending. And with this article and this news, it sounds like both sides have a lot of confidence in it going forward. It's just whether or not, Noah Hawley comes up with a good idea going forward. So, anyways, look forward to this one. What are your thoughts on this one? Season 4, going into production this winter. Chris Rock attached. Of course, they'll probably get some other cast members filling in here in the next few months. But yeah, really awesome stuff. So, it sounds good. So, Fargo season 4, let me know what your thoughts are on that one. And let me know what your thoughts are with season 3, and how you felt about that one, especially now going into season 4. All right, so now let's get on to our next topic, our second last of this week. All right, so this one, which actually is kind of disappointing to me, but, it is what it is. So, American Crime Story in Limbo at FX. This article is from Hollywood Reporter. This article actually tackles the Feud series as well. Feud and American Crime Story. But I'm obviously just going to focus on American Crime Story. I'm not a big fan of Feud. I haven't really watched any of it, so that's kind of my focus here. But here we go. Hollywood Reporter article, and then, of course, we'll discuss some of it. So, Ryan Murphy's move to Netflix is beginning to impact FX. The FX CEO, John Landgraf, told reporters Monday at the winter press tour that the future of Feud is not clear, as creator Ryan Murphy does not currently have an idea for the previously announced second season. Meanwhile, FX is currently developing 3 or 4 different ideas for another season of Emmy-winning anthology American Crime Story, but a return date for its award season favorite remains murky at best. Not good news. Right, not good news. So, as for American Crime Story, Murphy scrapped his planned idea to focus season 3 around Monica Lewinsky. And then the prolific producer previously optioned People vs. O.J. Simpson novelist Jeffrey Toobin, 2000 bestseller A Vast Conspiracy, the real sex scandal that nearly brought down a president, but had second thoughts about telling her story. So that was big news, right? That they were going to focus on Monica Lewinsky and that Bill Clinton whole scandal there in American Crime Story season 3 or season 4, right? It was like either or. They wanted to do that story, and he got the rights to this book that he was going to base it off of, and now he's just decided to scrap that idea. So that one is off the table, right? So then Landgraf on Monday also confirmed that the Katrina cycle is also no longer happening. Quote, as far as I know, Katrina is not still in the mix, he told reporters. American Crime Story Katrina had previously cast several key roles with high-profile stars, including Dennis Quaid, Annette Bening, and Matthew Broderick. Landgraf said the network has several other ideas for future seasons, some or all of which could make it to the screen eventually. Quote, we have 3 or 4 ideas in active development where we've acquired rights to them and done a fair amount of research and have writers working on them. Quote, I couldn't tell you what will be ready first. The likelihood is that all of them may be produced over time. End quote. So, big news here. I mean, I was really looking forward to both of these. I've been talking about this for a while. I said, O.J. Simpson season, an amazing first season. Versace, I thought quality was there, production was there, writing was there. I just felt like it was misadvertised, and I felt like they kind of, a little bit abused that in a way. So for me, it didn't quite work the way I think that they wanted it to. But again, I recognize the quality, and I definitely agree that they deserve all the Emmys that they got, to be honest. Really great run for season 2 American Crime Story. So, I really liked season 2, right? Love season 1. And then I'm like, Katrina, that's an awesome story with a lot of depth. Of course, you get actors like Dennis Quaid, Matthew Broderick, Annette Bening attached. It's like, I'm looking forward to that now. And then you hear the Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton thing. That scandal, of course, everyone knows about that. A huge kind of, a huge kind of event, right? That kind of sparked a lot of other things as well. And that would be a really interesting topic to kind of explore there as well. And so to see that now both of these ideas that I was really looking forward to and heard about are scrapped. And so it's a little bit disappointing for me because I really would have liked to see, again, both of these concepts or both of these, situations adapted. And you know what? But I have faith in Ryan Murphy, right? I have faith in him that we will eventually get a, fleshed out story that actually, has, some great, cast members attached to it and some great development, right? If he wasn't confident in telling the Monica Lewinsky story, then he shouldn't do it, right? At the end of the day, that is what it is. I would have loved to see the adaptation, but if he wasn't confident about it, if it wasn't going to be the best season, then I agree with that, right? The Katrina one, we don't really get an explanation as to why that was scrapped, why Ryan Murphy was not interested in doing that one anymore. But yeah, so to me, I mean, again, I was really looking forward to these two, and now neither of them are on the table for season 3. But it does sound like they have some ideas and they're developing some things, so it might be that in the next few months we get a new concept or a new topic that we're going to be tackling with season 3. But it definitely sounds like we're definitely going to get a season 3. Don't get me wrong, that's not this news, but it's just going to be when. That's kind of the question at this point. And so we got Versace. What was it? 2018, right? Yeah, so 2018 we got Versace. I believe OJ was 2016. And so maybe we get season 3 in 2020. Maybe they keep on that kind of same pace every other year. And maybe that's what we do, but it sounds like it will not be Katrina or the Monica Lewinsky scandal. So anyways, I would have liked to hear like some new details then on some other concepts they're working with. But then again, I probably would have just got excited again and been disappointed then if they got scrapped eventually. But anyways, guys, love to hear your thoughts on this one about American Crime Story future seasons. Did you hear about the Katrina or Monica Lewinsky stories that they wanted to tell? Were you interested in seeing those? Disappointed that, you know, maybe we won't ever see those. But yeah, it's just a little unfortunate news here. But it is also encouraging, though, that we get the news that they're still developing some things and that Season 3 is definitely on its way. But some, you know, troubling waters there for Feud, if you're a fan of that. It doesn't sound too good for that right now. But anyways, Ryan Murphy, the genius behind all things American Crime Story, American Horror Story. And so I have faith in him at the end of the day that he will give us a good product. Of course, like they said at the beginning, though, something that needs to be mentioned, his move to Netflix, right? He's developing the Politician series, another series I just heard about that he's doing as well with a pretty big cast. Who was that? Wow, it was a kind of a big casting too that was attached to his other series now. But anyways, so he's developing stuff for Netflix, and then he still is having to develop new ideas for FX. So he's a really busy guy. So I mean, I guess we got to cut him some slack. Yeah, and we'll have to see kind of where he goes from here. And what we see in the future from American Crime Story. So, again, guys, love to hear your thoughts on this one. Definitely an interesting topic and some interesting news here coming out from FX this week. All right, so now let's move on to our last topic of today, and that is Project Blue Book renewed for Season 2. So, Project Blue Book renewed for Season 2. This article is from Deadline. I'll take a look at this article and then discuss, of course, a little bit more. So, History Channel has ordered a 10-episode second season of its hit UFO drama series Project Blue Book from A&E Studios and executive producer Robert Zemeckis. Of course, behind Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, etc. The renewal comes amid strong ratings for the series, which is averaging 3.4 million viewers live. 3.4 million viewers, making it the #1 new series on cable among total viewers this season. It has also helped propel History to the #1 entertainment network in cable on Tuesday nights in primetime television among total viewers. So, pretty cool, pretty impressive statistics there. So, quote, "We're believers in Project Blue Book, and so is our audience, who has sparked a conversation about the hundreds of unsolved cases of our nation's military response to UFOs that have remained relatively secret until now," said Eli Lear, Executive Vice President and Head of Programming at History Channel. Quote, "Zemeckis, A&E Studios, and our extraordinary creative team have shaped a compelling narrative that is the perfect blend of historical authenticity and entertainment that inspires curiosity in our viewers to learn more. We've touched on a very relevant topic and look forward to a second season." Project Blue Book airs Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on History. So, really cool stuff here. I mean, I think his quote right there really summarized why this show has been successful so far, and also why I really enjoy this show too. A perfect blend of historical authenticity and entertainment that inspires curiosity in viewers. History Channel has always been teaching, right? Always been kind of interest series, right? Based around, you know, they've obviously had, you know, Skull Island. I think that was a series on there. You know, they've had some the ones about trying to think. Well, of course they have Vikings, right? But I'm trying to go for kind of the real kind of documentary style series that they have around some, you know, interesting stuff that they put together. Yeah, Skull Island, I guess, one of the bigger ones. But anyways, so they've kind of been going with that kind of documentary reality, if you will, you know, kind of learning programs. But now with Vikings being their first kind of scripted series, now Project Blue Book coming out, so it just sounds like that's kind of where History is going. And for them as a channel, like they said, historical authenticity and entertainment. That is something that, I mean, that is kind of a perfect description and a perfect image of what they want to be as a channel. And so for a series like Project Blue Book to come in and do exactly that, it's a no-brainer that it would get a second season, along with their 3.4 million viewers that they're averaging right now. Which, you know, say what you will, but that's pretty impressive, especially for History Channel. That is impressive, right? especially for their an original scripted series, right? And so for a series like this to come on and do that, I think it's a no-brainer that it gets renewed. So, but I did, off the bat, I did hear that this was kind of a limited type of thing, that it was only going to be 10 episodes, and that was it. But it sounds like History Channel is kind of revoking that sentiment, I guess, and giving it a second season. So, you know what? I'm happy for it. I didn't watch the recent episode, I believe. I think I'm on episode 4, and I think we're on episode 6 this week. So anyways, I got caught up with the last one, but I'm really enjoying it. Honestly, I think it's entertaining. It's very, kind of thought-provoking, right, at the same time. Some great performances, of course. What is his, Aidan Gillen, right? Aidan Gillen, from Game of Thrones, of course, Littlefinger, Neil McDonough in it as well. I know him from Suits and a bunch of other things. So some other great cast members. Is it Mark McLarkney or something like that? Anyway, so he's kind of the supporting actor in it. But yeah, I really do enjoy the series. Again, it's a little bit of a suspension of belief. And is this going to be, the same quality, the same production as an HBO series? No. At the end of the day, no. But I think it is still very, like I said, entertaining. Got that UFO interest in there. So anyone interested in that type of stuff definitely should check out this series. But yeah, I mean, I've been watching it almost every week now, and I do really enjoy it. So anyways, not a big surprise here. That's renewed for Season 2 on History Channel. And I really do suggest you guys check it out if you haven't already. Really great new series on cable. So yeah, Project Blue Book renewed for Season 2. Great news here from this week. All right, so that just about does it then for all the topics of news for this week's episode. Of course, then, I will end this episode off here then with my weekly notables from this week in television. Of course, these are all based around kind of my, what shows I watched this week. So, of course, you're out there, you say, I watched this show. This is an amazing episode this week. I probably did not see it. So, just got to put that little bit of a disclaimer out, right? But anyways, so here are my weekly notables, my notable episode and notable performance from this week in television. So my notable episode, as I mentioned before, I have already seen The Walking Dead Season 9 mid-season premiere episode, and so I got to give it to them. The Walking Dead Season 9 Episode 9, Adaptation. I thought this was a great episode, set a great tone for coming back for Season 9 here. Nothing too big happened, honestly, and we weren't really expecting a lot either with Jesus' death, spoiler alert, from Season 9, Episode 8, right? We weren't expecting a lot, and I feel like the tone that they set in this episode was really great. Some of the things they tackled, they actually went pretty quickly throughout in this episode and kind of got us into Season 9, the second half here, with the Whisperers, of course, which is kind of the whole focus of this second half and probably going forward. So, anyways, a really great episode here from The Walking Dead. Notable performance from this week, it's got to go to Stephen Dorff from True Detective Season 3, Episode 5, If You Have Ghosts. I felt like this was his best episode so far. We also got a lot more focus on him in this episode, to be fair. But Stephen Dorff, I mean, Mahershala Ali, obviously a force of a performance so far in True Detective. But Stephen Dorff has almost been, I would say, equally as impressive. And I feel like he's obviously going to get overshadowed in the end by Mahershala Ali. But he's been doing an amazing job every episode. And this episode, what I would say, would probably be his best. So, anyway, Stephen Dorff for True Detective, Season 3, Episode 5 is my notable performance from this week. Again, True Detective, really suggest you check that one out, Season 3. I do weekly reviews on my Chatterbox Reviews channel. So you want to check those out too if you're watching the series. For sure, and the Walking Dead review will be up in just a little bit as well on that channel. So, anyways, is what it is. So, thank you guys then. I guess that'll just about do it for this episode of Let's Talk Television. Episode 9. So, we'll almost be, we will be at episode 10. 10 weeks in to the show next week. So, that'll be special. 10 episodes in. Wow. Crazy. It seems like just started here on Leap Network. But anyways, I'll obviously be back next Saturday. It should be discussing all the relevant new TV news that'll be, facing us next week. A couple things to look out for. I've heard that we might see another Game of Thrones teaser in the next couple weeks. time. Obviously, we'll get some probably casting announcements. Maybe some more stuff about Twilight Zone reboot, because that's coming soon. Some more casting announcements about some of the shows that we talked about here already. So we might have some big news coming next week, but we'll have to see what happens ultimately. So, anyways, and if you haven't checked it out already, Let's Talk Cinema movie news show will be happening tomorrow night with Greg. Check that one out as well. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this one. As always, thank you so much for supporting the network here, and Let's Talk Television as a series. Really do appreciate it. So, anyways, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching this one. And that'll just about do it for this episode. So, thank you guys, and we'll see you next week. Take care.